Another week of healthy economic reports, and as a result, Fed rate cuts are being taken off the table as we speak, and boomers take a backseat to millennials in housing. What's it all mean? Let's find out. I believe we are one of the first outlier contrarian media outlets to first pose the possibility of fewer or no rate cuts this year. And here we are in the start of April, and now mainstream media and actual Fed members are echoing that statement. And again, this isn't what we want, but it is what we've been saying and seeing based off the data. We would love to see some rate love come our way, but it just hasn't come our way yet. And I hate to say it, I don't think it will until we start seeing some negative economic reports. Now, the updated Fed dot plot seems to agree. For example, the Fed's latest projections now show just 2 officials seeing no rate cuts this year, and 2 officials seeing 1 quarter-point rate cut in 2024, and 5 officials see only 2 cuts. Now, remember, team, the general consensus was 6 rate cuts just a few months ago, and now it's only 2. And the market's still pricing in a rate cut in June, but we don't see that happening at this point. The data would have to shift like immediately right now to put the Feds in a position where they would need to cut rates in June. And so far, that just hasn't happened. Matter of fact, the exact opposite continues to happen. That's the problem. Back to the dot plot though, 9 officials see 3 rate cuts in 2025. And to be honest, it's hard to put much weight into that when 3 months into 2024, the expected rate cuts went from 6 to 2 seemingly overnight. So take the dot plot with a grain of salt. I promise you, we will be one of the first to change our stance and inform you right away if things change. But this is how we see it for right now. Speaking of things that are happening right now with real estate and mortgage, millennials continue to shrug off the higher rates and all the drama and lead the way in housing. They replaced baby boomers as the largest group of home buyers in 2023. That's pretty surprising. Take a look. The combined share of millennials, both younger, ages 25 to 33, and older, ages 34 to 43, made up a combined 38% of home purchases last year. Meanwhile, the baby boomers, comprising both of younger boomers and older boomers, saw their share decrease 39% to 31% during the same period. Check this out. The NAR report shows a surge in first-time buyers across all age groups, with millennials leading the way. 32% of all buyers in 2023 were first-timers, up from 26% the prior year, with millennials comprising 75% of this demographic. Additionally, older millennials and Gen X, ages 44 to 58, also saw significant representation among first-time home buyers, respectively accounting for 44% and 24% of this group. Boomers remain the largest generation of home sellers, though, accounting for 45% of all sellers in 2023, down from 52% in 2022. Speaking of mom and dad and boomers, though, more than 3/4 plan to stay in their home as they grow older, which is good and bad. Not great for housing, as we need that inventory back on the market. This will only contribute to the existing inventory shortage, but we do believe this will lead to a better quality of life for boomers as retirement home costs skyrocket and are extremely limited. Tying this all together, rates seem to have the biggest impact on their decision. Baby boomers are holding onto their homes largely because there's not much financial incentives to let them go. Most boomers who own a home have no mortgage, and for those that do have a mortgage, nearly all have a lower interest rate than they could afford if they sold and bought a new home right now. More than half of baby boomers who are planning to sell their home anytime soon say it's because they like the home they live in and really have no reason to move. More than a quarter say it's because their home is completely or almost paid off, and roughly 1 in 5, 21%, are staying put because home prices are just too high. 78% of older Americans plan to stay and age in place. That's pretty crazy. It reminds me of another show that we recently dropped when we highlighted the reverse mortgage opportunities. You may need to go back and watch that one. That is yet another show we dropped when no one else was talking about it. Team, share us with your friends, family, and coworkers. The outlier contrarian shows that we are first to bring you are starting to add up. First to talk about us being in the 3rd inning of adversity when everyone else was saying differently. First to talk about fewer or no rate cuts this year, and oddly still first to only point out the reverse mortgage acres of diamond opportunity that's sitting in front of us. Share us with your team, your friends, and coworkers, guys. More people need to be in the know, and we'll see you guys next week.